Back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Room Liberty, and with me is
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got a pretty quaint podcast going here. We're gonna go through basically our E3 awards of 2016. We're gonna talk about the best new IP. We're gonna talk about best of Nintendo, best of Microsoft, best of Sony, biggest surprise, most disappointing, and game of the show. But before we go into that, let's talk about what we played this week. So I played a lot of games. I finally got my hands on 2 games. I got my hands on Fire Emblem Fates. Finally, pretty fun game. It's very similar to Awakening. There's a set kind of story and whatnot. There's a couple things that I like and a couple things that I don't like about this because there's changes to the formula compared to Awakening.
Okay.
One of the new things that I think is pretty cool is that you can build your own base, like your castle, right? So you can customize your castle. You can, and the cool thing is that before you would always visit shops and whatnot to buy weapons or whatnot.
Yeah.
So there's this interesting little gimmick in which you build your own shop. You build your own shop for stabs or wizard stuff, or you build your own shop for weapons and whatnot and other things. And it's actually the people who are in the shop are the characters that are in your army, right?
Okay.
So depending on who's running the shop on that day, it will affect certain prices. So it's interesting because it's like, for example, if the bowman, if your archer guy is running the armory, the bows are all going to be super cheap.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting, and there's a couple other little buildings and whatnot, and there's a little bit of resource gathering in this game, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. One of the things that I'm a little bit annoyed by is you don't have as much control over grinding as I wish you could. Because in the first game, how it worked is that you could continue the main story, right? There are chapters, right? So you could continue the main story back to back to back, and those would be story missions. And you could level up your characters, obviously, through the story missions.
Yeah.
But on the side, you could revisit areas that you've already completed and fight just basically zombies or the undead and grind out your guys, get better support ratings for your characters and whatnot. So it was a good way to kind of get your stats up.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that you don't really get that option in Fire Emblem Fates. It's more of you get your chapters, and then occasionally you'll get invasions in which you'll have these undead invade your base, and you'll have to fight them off and protect your base of operations. So that's kind of how you can grind, but you only really get them infrequently. So I don't know. It's interesting. I've only played so much. I've played about maybe, I want to say, 3 hours or so of the game. So I'm still enjoying it a lot. And I picked Conquest, right? So it's kind of interesting in the sense where it's very clear that I feel you're not really supposed to play Conquest first.
Okay.
You're supposed to play Birthright first because that feels more natural. The natural way of how those events would take place. So that Conquest feels a little bit weird, but it's interesting weird.
Okay.
And then other than that, I literally just finished playing a little bit of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE. And that game is freaking weird, but it is the closest thing to Persona that I'm going to have for a while. And I am enjoying it a lot. I actually am enjoying it a lot. It's pretty goofy, not gonna lie. It's pretty goofy, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun so far. It doesn't really explain that much in the tutorial though. It kind of you fight your first enemy in that game, and it's we're not gonna explain how attack works. We're not gonna explain how skill works. And I'm like, man, if you hadn't played Persona and you picked up this game, you would probably be a little bit confused. But that's basically what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
So, I finished The Witcher 3.
All the DLC and whatnot?
Yeah, there's absolutely no more story content for me to do in The Witcher. Now let me clear that up. There's still a bunch of side missions, and to be fair, I rushed through the main. So I first of all, okay. Let me give a little bit backstory. You know, a couple podcasts ago, I was bitching about this one boss in The Witcher 3 DLC that was the worst thing.
Oh yeah, the one that could heal herself.
Yeah. So what I did was because I was playing the game on the highest difficulty, and I was playing on New Game Plus, which also makes enemies tougher.
Right.
So what I did was because I was trying to get the trophy for beating the game on the highest difficulty, so I just focused on beating the game on the highest difficulty. I got the trophy, and then I just turned the difficulty down, beat her, and then I beat the Heart of Stone DLC. Really good. Like anyone that's listening to this podcast that owns The Witcher 3 and hasn't bought this DLC, what are you doing, man? Go out there and buy it. It's awesome stuff. The main campaign is so cool, man. Like the difference in quality between the main game's campaign and both of the DLC's campaigns is just it's just astounding. The characters they introduce some cool new characters, and the return of one character from the main game, and there's multiple endings because you know this is The Witcher. Although the endings in this case, it's more it comes down to a decision you make at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's different in that sense, and the final boss that you face is so cool. It's such a cool design, and that's one thing that I gotta give a shout out for is that all the bosses in Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine, because one of the issues was that a lot of the bosses in the main game didn't feel like bosses; they just felt like regular enemies with more health. Mm-hmm. Whereas these bosses, they actually feel like bosses. They go through phases. Mm-hmm. They have really unique designs. The final boss of Blood and Wine, oh my God, my palms were so sweaty during that battle. But yeah, I beat Heart of Stone. It's really cool. Then I kind of rushed through Blood and Wine, which I really regret now. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize the campaign is not as long, because they were like that the Blood and Wine was going to add 20 hours of gameplay. I misunderstood that and thought it meant that the campaign was going to be 20 hours long.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so the campaign wasn't, I beat it. I really enjoyed it. And that was part of the reason why I beat it so quickly was because
you were having a lot of fun,
I finished one mission and they'd be like, okay, let's do this next. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, let's go do that. And then before I knew it, the game finished. I got the worst possible ending.
Nice.
It was so hilarious. You know, obviously I'm not gonna go into what happened in the ending, but like I'm playing the game and like I'm making all these decisions that I know are going to affect the ending. Like, I know these decisions are all going to have an effect on the ending. And I'm sitting there thinking I'm making all the right decisions. And then the ending comes, and it is horrible. Like, it is the worst possible ending you can get in the game. So, yeah, that was fun. I'm going to take a bit of a break, and then I think I'm going to, because I made a save, because the game warns you before you hit the point of no return. So I made a save at the point of no return. I think I'm going to backtrack, go back to that save, do a bunch of stuff that I missed out on. And then see if I can fix that ending too. Mm-hmm. But Witcher 3. I'm kind of sad because, I'm actually done with the main story with Geralt, with the main story of Geralt, because there's no Witcher 4 anytime soon anyway. Cyberpunk took them to make Cyberpunk 2077.
Honestly, I doubt there's going to be a Witcher 4, because from what I can tell, it's like people say that like Witcher 3 is sort of like it's meant to be like the conclusion.
Yeah, like they've said. I mean, they also said never say never, because you know how these things go, right? So it said never say never, but as of right now, they have no intention of making another Witcher game. So I'm kind of sad that I'm done. Like I'm completely done with Geralt's story. But there's still a bunch of stuff in the new game that I didn't even touch. They added new armors that I never found. They added like new skills that you could learn. You had the house that you could level up that I didn't really. I didn't really get into the DLC. Cause I mean, part of the other reason was that I wanted to beat the DLC before YouTube spoils one of the endings for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was the other reason why I was rushing through it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back. So yeah, I was also playing The Witcher. I mean, I was also playing Overwatch, but that kind of goes without saying at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, man, let's get into some news.
Just really quickly, not a whole lot to really talk about. I just wanted to mention Hyrule Warriors. We finally got some good concrete news about the DLC. Marin is the next character for the DLC, and for those who don't know, she's the girl that picks up Link in Link's Awakening. And what I really like in the trailer is that this is what I love about this game is that there's so many little fan things that I'm really glad that they keep details like this in this type of game. And one of the things is that her one of her moves, she actually hums the song from Link's Awakening. Because in Link's Awakening,
that's cute.
Yeah, like in Link's Awakening, you know how you're trying to get like all the instruments to sing the song of like I think the Ballad of the Whitefish or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's actually really funny. Her combos summon the Whitefish. And she just whacks people with this giant ass whale. It's fantastic. And I really like that little tidbit. And then of course the new weapon for Linkle is just boots. So I'm expecting some pretty awesome like Kami combos, like you know dive kicks, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty cool. Like I'm pretty excited for when it comes out. I think it's going to be coming out probably late July. I think it's coming out sooner for like the 3DS version, but I prefer the Wii U version, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. Do you have any other news you want to talk about? Nope. All right, good stuff. This is gonna be a shorter one. All right, let's get into some our awards for E3. So, best new IP. Fawaz, what do you think is the best new IP that was shown off at E3?
So it's funny, I actually wanted to put Nier Automata in this spot, and then I realized that it was a sequel.
Yeah,
so,
technically it's a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this spot to For Honor. Now, it wasn't announced at this E3, but...
It's a new IP, yeah.
It's a new IP, and I mean, there were a lot of new IPs shown at this E3, but a lot of them were announced at last year's E3. It was a close one between For Honor and Steep, but like For Honor lets me storm the beaches as a Viking, you know.
That's pretty dope.
There you go. Yeah, so the game looked really cool. We actually have a release date, February 14th. And now there's also going to be an asterisk next to this because this is an Ubisoft new IP.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has not done a good job with its new IPs. Like Watch Dogs was kind of booty. The Division was kind of booty. The Crew was kind of booty. So I'm not like uber excited about it. Like if this game was developed by literally any other company, I'd be a lot more excited for it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
But it still looked pretty good. And hats off to Ubisoft for trying something. Like, here's the thing, is that I'm shitting on Ubisoft for a lot of the new IPs kind of falling flat on their faces, but at least they're making new IPs.
Yeah.
They're going out of their way, and they're trying new things. I mean, For Honor is something completely different. Steep is pretty damn different. Mm-hmm. The Division Watch Dogs wasn't that different.
No, Watch Dogs very.
But yeah, man, For Honor, man, I'm really excited. We finally saw some Viking gameplay, and good stuff to Ubisoft. Looking forward to seeing more, and hopefully this game delivers.
Yeah. I guess for me, I know it did get announced last year, but still, I really like Horizon Zero Dawn. I really think there's a lot of potential in this IP. And like just the world itself is so interesting. I mean, Robo Dinosaurs, can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that.
I also like the fact that in this particular demo they showed off the fact that she can tame some of these creatures, right?
Yeah.
So she's not just hunting them. So
yeah.
I really like that because like seeing her like sort of tame that one bull, like and just riding it through like this open area, I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool. And then she could also she could whistle for the bull a little later on in the demo, and it came. Unfortunately, the bull got squashed later on in the demo. Yeah. But yeah, man. No, this is it's funny. The game. I also really liked the scanning enemies to figure out their weaknesses. Thing. It was I completely agree. Really good looking game.
Really good new IP. That would probably be what I would consider best new IP for sure.
Okay.
And now we go to Nintendo, and this is where I have to kind of make a bit of a correction about our last podcast. Our last podcast, we talked about how, like, okay, Nintendo, what's going on? You only really showed Zelda and Pokemon, at your E3. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
And then I came to the realization that I was like, oh, they had a day 2. So that was my mistake. That was my bad.
Damn it, Tyler.
I know, it's all my fault. I still gave them a 7, all things considered. But on their day 2, they did actually show some new stuff. They went into detail about Pokemon Go and talked about how, like, obviously the locations that you explore will depend on the Pokemon. So that was sort of like what I was expecting, but it was really cool to see how, like, you go to the docks and you find a water Pokemon, right? That's pretty cool. Like, I can't lie. That's a pretty cool thing. And then they actually showed off a new IP, Ever Oasis. It looks like this sort of action RPG for the 3DS. It looks pretty cool. They also announced Yokai Watch 2. I mean, that was probably inevitable. From what I've gathered is that a lot of people who played Yokai Watch 2, they actually did really enjoy it a lot. And they said that they did. It's because it's very similar to Pokemon, right?
Okay.
But it's Pokemon, but instead of Pokemon, it's ghosts, right? But a lot of people also said that there's things that they do in this game that Pokemon hasn't done, and it makes the game slightly better in some ways than Pokemon. So, interesting enough. They showed off some more Monster Hunter Generations, so that was actually really awesome. Dragon Quest VII and Tokyo FE, which I purchased recently. So that was cool. Cool to finally see. But honestly, the best of Nintendo was obviously Zelda for sure. Breath of the Wild, just.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm the only one who was excited for that. But okay. Just gonna let that.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I got distracted by something ridiculous that I will not get into on this podcast. Yes,
I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm
I
sure
completely agree. Zelda, obviously, for me, I didn't even see Nintendo's second day, so for me, there was literally only one game.
That's fair.
And that was Zelda. Now, to be fair, the game looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Zelda, Breath of the Wild. God, that is like I gotta give Nintendo credit for going out of their way and doing something completely different. Because of the big three, Nintendo are probably the one who do not take risks as much.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have your Mario 64s and all that, and your Metroid Primes.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, Nintendo, at least these past couple of years anyway, have just they've stayed the path. This worked. This has worked for over a decade, so we're gonna keep doing it this specific way.
Right.
But yeah, man, they completely rewrote the book. Well, not completely. Let's not get too crazy here. But the game is a pretty big departure from the older Zelda games. So yeah, hats off to Nintendo, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, exactly. Best of Microsoft. So what do you think was the best thing they showed at Microsoft?
Yeah, this was a weird one for me because like I liked a lot of stuff that they showed, but like I liked a lot of it equally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
Because it was probably the most unique game that they showed. It was, first of all, we don't have a lot of pirate games.
Yeah.
So the setting was kind of unique. I like the art style. I like the art style a lot. I like the cartoony art style. And then, the gameplay also looked pretty cool. A lot of people were groaning at the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mind it. It seems genuine to me. It wasn't like that one time when they were demoing Kinect, and that girl was like, "Oh, did you cheat for your gamer score?" And she's like, "No, I got my 100% legit."
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that was great.
It actually seems genuine. Yeah. At least, maybe
there were actually some genuine moments in that demo. Like I think the genuine moment that made me laugh the most was when he fell off the plank, and it very realistically, it wasn't like this like beautiful animation. It was a very realistic, just standing in like a standing position, just falling off. And bouncing with the geometry, and I was like, okay, that's pretty funny for you to just show that in your demo.
Yeah, or like when they were being attacked by the other ship, and that one dude just goes to the bottom of the ship, looks around and sees a bunch of holes. It's like abandoned ship.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty cool looking demo. It was a genuine looking demo. Hopefully they show. I was to be fair, I was kind of hoping for something a little more scripted, which is kind of funny to see. And hopefully down the line we see something a little more scripted to show off more of the features of the game and all of that. But yeah, man, Sea of Thieves, of all the games that Microsoft showed at the press conference, that was probably the one that I left the most excited about.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I was thinking like, okay, what was the demo that got me like on the edge of my seat the most? And to be honest, it was the We Happy Few gameplay walkthrough, because that was just an insane trailer to show at this conference. And we talked about it in our last podcast about how crazy it was to see just, a very BioShocky, as we mentioned. But it was like, I was just so interested in like, what kind of tone is this game going to go for? Like, it's obviously going for a more darker, disturbing kind of tone. And I'm just like, man, I miss BioShock. So I was really actually surprised because I hadn't heard of this IP. I knew it was a Kickstarter game, but I had never seen anything about it, right? So it was pretty crazy to see it on the big screen at this conference. So honestly, for me, it would be We Happy Few, because that was just the craziest game.
That demo was, because I'd heard of the game, but I just heard of it, right? I didn't really know a whole lot about it. Mm-hmm. And then I was watching the demo, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, because the gameplay I'd seen of the game before was pretty creepy. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching the demo, and everything seems normal, and I'm like, this isn't going to stay normal for long.
No. This is not going to stay normal for long.
And then, the pinata, he whacks it, and then the blood, and then they're eating the dead rat, and I was like, oh my gosh! What is going on?
What is going on?
But I completely agree. We Were Happy Few. That was a beautiful, beautiful looking game. I really like the art style. Very. I don't want to say unique, but it was kind of unique, but very creepy. Yeah. Definitely creepy art style.
The creepy art style works for the content, for sure.
Oh, and the game is actually exclusive to Xbox One.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought it was coming to PS4 as well. Oh, well, there you go.
Well, I think it's PC and Xbox One.
Yeah. But at this point, I just count that. Okay, yeah, let's just say that the game is a Microsoft exclusive.
Microsoft exclusive, yeah.
Oh, and Linux and MacBook. Yeah. But
that's the one thing that's the one thing that actually does make me happy, because it's like, okay, good, it's coming out for the PC. I can buy it on the PC. So, yay. I still hate Windows 10 though. I still hate it with burning passion. Oh. All right, next, Best of Sony.
Best of Sony.
This was tough. Okay. This was a tough one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. So I'm gonna hit you with a surprise on this one.
Okay. Well.
I'm actually gonna pick Days Gone as my best game from Sony's press conference.
What? Yeah,
man. Like I gave it a little more thought, and I've never seen a game handled. I'm sorry.
Because I'm like, okay, he's probably joking, but he's going on for a good while. Did he just have like an epiphany while I was gone? Like,
no, I think that game is garbage. No.
Okay.
But the best game from Sony. I was originally going to pick Horizon, but then you picked it for your best new IP, and I want to kind of spread the love out a little bit. So I'm actually going to pick Detroit. As my favorite game from Sony's press conference. Okay. I really, really enjoyed the demo. And now, like the same way I put a little asterisk next to For Honor, I'm going to put a little asterisk next to Detroit as well. Yeah. Quantum Dreams are very hit or miss.
Yes, for sure.
But this has all the signs of a hit on it. Like it's a more realistic game. So like we said on the last podcast, whenever they go with a little more realistic game, it's the one time they've gone with a more realistic game, it's come out and been their best game.
Yes.
So there's that, and they're like that. This game is going to have the most choice and consequence of any of their games.
Yep.
So that also has me a little excited. They were like all the main characters can actually die.
Yep.
So that also has me pretty darn excited. And it's a neo noir, and like I love I love noir.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the film noir genre, and they said that the game takes is a little inspired by Blade Runner, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, Blade Runner is great.
Yeah. So yeah, man, like Detroit, worst name ever.
Detroit, worst name ever, but there is potential for sure.
There is a lot of potential there, and that's gonna be my best game from Sony's press conference.
So mine is kind of a tie because I can't choose because I really loved the God of War trailer. Like the new God of War trailer was fantastic. It was a really good demo, and I might talk about that later when we get to Game of the Show. Is that
spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert, because I think that demo, that walkthrough was fantastic. Like the audience getting really really hyped along the way, like and it seemed like they got the beats right. They got exactly what they wanted to show, and it was just really 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 good from what they showed. And I think the other game that I really, really enjoyed was Death Stranding because there's a lot of like interesting stuff that people are speculating about this game. People are starting to talk about what could it be about. It's probably gonna have to do with like the link between life and death. Obviously, like that seems to be a theme about it. But it just looks so interesting, and I'm really, really curious what Kojima's going to bring to the table, because he stressed that this is going to be a sort of action game in a sense, but it's going to have a new twist on the genre. So I'm really interested in those two games, and I think those were the two that really stood out at Sony's press conference.
Okay. Yeah.
At least in my opinion, I think.
Yeah. What's this thing called with God of War? I really liked the demo. It was very Last of Us-y.
Yeah, like I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, which kind of to be honest, that kind of lowered my just a little, like a smidge, because we know we're also getting another Last of Us.
We do.
Yeah, I mean didn't the voice actor like leaked that
he leaked, but maybe like we don't know. Like
okay,
until we see like Naughty Dog just drop the title card,
Yeah, no, you're right. But no, like I really enjoyed the God of War demo. It was almost everything that I wanted from the brand new God of War. I'm really excited for it. I like the fact that they changed the gameplay. I was never a big fan of the arcadey.
I like having control of the camera. Like it just makes a big difference. Having control, like there's some games where it's like not having control of the camera is fine, but I feel in a game like that, having control of the camera is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So like overall, man, I completely agree. Death Stranding, you know me, I don't even touch any of that because like you always set yourself up for disappointment when you do stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, Kojima's new IP. Okay, we have a name. But then I was like, cool, that's all. I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait until I see some gameplay before I even touch this. Because, yeah, man, you build yourself up expecting one thing. And, there's that whole issue with expectations versus reality, right? So,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you build up your expectations one way, and then the game goes the other way, and then you criticize the game not for anything it did wrong, but for not living up to those expectations.
Well, I'm just like I'm more interested in it, like as far as like the trailer. Out of all the trailers that stood out at the Sony conference, that was definitely one of them that stood out because it was just so bizarre.
It was a pretty bizarre trailer. I'll give you that much. It was. They get credit for thinking outside of the box with their trailer. Yeah. It was like nothing we've seen yet. Although, like the other thing is that he said the trailer is supposed to be in engine, but then at the same time he said he hasn't actually chosen an engine for the game yet. So I'm like, okay, so then you were lying when you said the trailer was in it.
Well, I think part of the problem is that he probably is like, man, I want to use the Fox engine, but Konami has the rights to the Fox engine.
Yeah,
so,
but
yay. That
But yeah,
sucks.
apparently he's still working on an engine for the game, so we're probably gonna see gameplay for the game for like a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Cool
I definitely feel you. I definitely feel you.
Next on our list, biggest surprise. So
I know best trailer.
What, best trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, best trailer. What do you think was the best trailer?
Titanfall 2, baby. I've watched that trailer so many times. Like, just that, it was such. I mean, it's a very generic trailer. You know, to go from talking about Death Stranding to this, it's a very generic trailer, right? But it hits all the right notes. The soundtrack on that trailer, like, I was hearing that shit in my dreams, straight up. That soundtrack was so intense. Then, you know, it does a good job of showing off the new Titans, the new abilities. It teases, it shows up the new Titans, the new abilities, some of the new weapons, some of the new grenades, and it's just, and then it ends. Sorry, I'm talking about the multiplayer trailer, by the way. I watched the trailer once and I never watched it again.
That's fair enough.
And then, you know, it finishes off like just on the perfect note. You know, you have two of the new Titans going 1v1, both using their abilities. Both pilots eject out of their Titans. And then in midair, one Titan grapple hooks the other one and drop kicks him. And I was like, I'm sold. Like, you know, it's cliche, but shut up and take my money. Straight up. That trailer, I've rewatched it so many times. I'm probably going to rewatch it after we finish recording this podcast, actually.
Oh,
that trailer was absolutely amazing.
Yep. For me, I'm not going to go into that much detail, but because we already kind of talked about it. Like I said, I really like that Death Stranding trailer. And I know it's not, hey, you know, not a whole lot of gameplay in it, obviously. It's all cinematic and whatnot, but out of all the trailers of E3, I just kept coming back to that one, and I don't know why. I think it was just something about it I liked about it, and the fact there was sort of like this mystery to it. And I just like it just draw me in. And I think it's mostly just I like trailers that they don't. I know this sounds weird, but I don't like trailers that they give everything away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a pretty good trailer in that regard. Because there's some trailers where it's like they show you, especially some single player trailers, right? Where they basically show you the entire game. Like, for me, like, I think one of the worst ones was Uncharted 3, where they showed off all of the craziest moments in the game in that trailer. So when you got to them, there was no surprise. Like, you just knew that they were going to happen. So, I really did like it for that. I don't know. I just I've already discussed why I like the Death Stranding trailer a lot, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorite trailers. I'd probably say that the God of War trailer had as far as like a gameplay walkthrough trailer was still the best because it hit the right notes.
It hit the right notes, yeah.
But I still out of all the trailers that I've seen, that was the one I just kept going back to. So next we got biggest surprise.
Biggest surprise. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat and pick two games here, right?
Okay.
The first one was Quake Champions.
Yep.
Simply because it's Quake. It's the first Quake in a very long time, and it did not leak. I think that was the more surprising part about it was that it didn't leak at all. There was no hints at all. I mean, like the Elder Scrolls thing leaked before the press conference. Fallout 4 leaked last year before their press conference. Yep. But like Quake, we're just in the press conference, just watching it, and then it's like initiating Quake program or something like that.
Yeah. The way that they showed that trailer was a pretty good way to start the conference.
Man. So that was a pretty big surprise. The other thing that I'm gonna pick is Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah.
And this is a surprise for a different reason. To be honest, I'm not that excited for the game itself because, quite frankly, I don't really care.
Fair enough.
I mean, if they remake it the way they did with Ratchet and Clank, I'll probably buy it. Otherwise, no, I'm good. If it's just like an HD remaster, I'm probably not going to bother. But this was a surprise because people have been asking for this
for a while.
So long. And I never thought. I mean, now to be fair, I'm like eternally a pessimist, right?
Yeah.
But I never thought it was going to happen. Activision owned the rights. I didn't think it was possible. And then when what's this douchebag goes on stage during PSX in a Crash Bandicoot T-shirt, and then doesn't reveal it that press conference, I was like, well, this is never going to happen. It's going to troll us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And then he just walks on stage, and I'm hearing the music. And it took me a second because it's been so long, right? And I'm like, that song sounds familiar. Oh my God, they actually did it? And yeah, man, Crash Bandicoot, that was quite the surprise. That was quite the surprise. It's actually funny, a quick digression. Before, I think it was E3 2013, this one dude posted this GIF. It's such a weird gift. You know how people take a conversation people are having and then they overlay their own text?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's a conversation between this preacher and this girl, right?
Yeah.
And then you know how in churches preachers do this thing where they touch people and then the people start going into seizures, right?
Right, yeah.
So he goes up to this girl and he's like that, oh, what are you expecting from Sony's press conference this year? And she's like that, if they just announced The Last Guardian, I think I'll be fine. And she's like shaking, right? And it's like, okay, cool. So this year Sony is going to announce The Last Guardian, right?
Yeah.
And then he now goes up on a quick, and he lists off like 20 things that Sony is going to announce at the press conference.
Yeah.
Most of it didn't come through that year, right? But it was like the standard wish list. It was Crash Bandicoot. It was New God of War. It was The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
See where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're going with
this. At the time, it was like, wow, this is such a wish list. But now, 3 years later, almost everything on that wish list has come true.
Yeah, like so many games, and this is why I'm been so pretty happy with Sony. Is that there's a lot of games where people would been like, we want this to happen, but part of it was like, it's probably never gonna happen. But I know what you mean. Where like seeing like Crash Bandicoot and like other games like last year, seeing FF7 remake, seeing Last Guardian, like those were like, holy crap! I can't believe it's actually happening. Like we're actually getting it. So yeah, I know what you mean, and I really did. I will agree with you. Yeah, I really did like seeing Crash Bandicoot. Like that was a big surprise because I knew how the reason why we haven't really seen Crash Bandicoot is because, well, Activision owns the rights, and it makes making Crash Bandicoot games really difficult when you won't let Naughty Dog make another Crash Bandicoot game. So it's like that was why I was like, wow, they actually were able to work something out. So that I was really surprised with that for sure. I completely agree with you. So next on our list, a little less.
Wait, you haven't answered what your biggest surprise?
Oh no, my biggest surprise was Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you. That was one of my biggest surprises.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to clarify, my biggest surprise was definitely Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
So now we go on to most disappointing. So what was your most disappointing for us?
Honestly, it has to be Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Halo Wars 2. The game just looked like shit, like straight up. And then after that, I read some articles about the beta because they announced the beta that happened around the time that E3 was happening, and most of the articles I read were like that the beta was shit. So that's really disappointing because
there was there could have been a lot of potential with.
When they announced this game at Gamescom, I was really excited to see some gameplay. I thought that they could do something interesting. I mean, it's a console RTS, It's not like console RTSs have a sordid history, but I thought there was some potential they could do something unique here, and I thought that the fact that they were bringing it back meant that they had come up with a really cool and unique way to transition an RTS to the consoles. Right. Turns out I was completely wrong, and they were just looking for a way to further milk the Halo name. Because, this game looked like booty butt cheeks. And not the good kind of booty butt cheeks.
Not the good kind. We have to make that distinction.
Gotta make that distinction. So, man, Halo Wars, hands down, the most disappointing game for me at this E3.
Well, I had no stake in Halo Wars, so it definitely wasn't the most disappointing for me. And honestly, when I was going through all the trailers again, and I think the one, it wasn't necessarily the worst trailer by far, but for me, the most disappointing was the Mass Effect Andromeda trailer.
Really?
And the reason why I say it was disappointing is because for me, I was like, I really just wanted a story trailer. I wanted a story trailer, give us like a good gameplay trailer of like, what is this Mass Effect going to be about? And when at the end of the day, I rewatched it a couple times. I was like, they're selling like, okay, you get excited to explore new worlds in Mass Effect, and it was more just selling the idea. And it's like, well, we know the idea. We know the idea of Mass Effect. I wanted to see like a story trailer. I was hoping that we would get something like like the God of War trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
But in like Mass Effect Andromeda, so. I mean, like I said, like definitely not the worst trailer. Definitely not the worst trailer at E3. But I was at the end of the day, as a Mass Effect fan, I was still like, I wanted to see a little bit more because it's been a while. Like
it's been a while. Yeah, I guess for me, I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, okay, sure, they didn't show gameplay, but it's EA, like you expect to be disappointed with EA. That's just where I've gotten to at this point.
I know what you mean by that.
But like the trailer they did show, it like the little gameplay that they showed looked amazing.
Oh so yeah, for sure.
I was because I didn't expect them to show any gameplay. I was like that. It's EA. They're just whatever makes the most sense is what they are not going to do. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but then when they actually showed the Andromeda trailer, I was like, oh, this is more than I thought they were going to show. And then I saw the gameplay, and I was like, wow, this looks amazing. Yeah. Like I'm well documented in hating on the Mass Effect franchise, but
fair enough.
But I can't lie, man. That trailer got me intrigued. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just as a Mass Effect fan, I was like, I just wanted to see a little bit more. So I was kind of.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I was just like, eh. Like I said, like this is most disappointing. It's not worst trailer. We have to make that distinction.
This is true.
This is probably the one that made me go, well.
Okay. And now we wrap. And now we hit the big one.
The big one.
Of the show.
Game of the show.
Okay, so for me. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna give a shout out to the game there were two games I was wrestling with here. Mm-hmm. So I'll give a shout out to the one that didn't win Game of the Show. I really wanted to give this game an award in one of the other spots because I like this game really impressed me. Unfortunately, it just did not fit into any of the other places.
Right.
So it's Nier Automata.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I saw like they showed a couple of gameplay walkthroughs. They showed like a boss battle, and the game just looks really good. The game looks really good. It looks like I'm finally gonna be able to get my Platinum Games fix.
Yep.
On the PS4, so I'm really excited for that. Unfortunately, it just did not fit into any of our categories. And the other game, the game that I'm gonna give my game of the show, I just preferred. So yeah, my game of the show. So Nier Automata, shout outs to that.
Okay.
But my game of the show was Gwent.
Gwent. Okay.
And at first I picked this as a trolley pick, right?
Right. That's.
I was like, but then actually, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the game I was most excited for at the end of everything was the standalone Gwent game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I love me some CD Projekt Red. I love me some Witcher.
Yeah.
I love me some collectible card games, and I love me some Gwent. But more so than all of that, right? What really impressed me with the game was because I watched some more in-depth gameplay after the E3 press conference, and one of my biggest complaints, and I think I've said this on like 3 podcasts now, was that I when people asked me if I would buy a standalone Gwent game, I was like, sure, but if they rebalanced it, because the current game is so unbalanced, right?
Well, it's unbalanced because it's like you're playing against computers.
Yeah, the current game was built for PvE, so it wasn't built with balance in mind, right? It was just built as like a pastime. So, but then I watched the gameplay and I just saw the lengths to which they were going. Like they've completely rebalanced certain cards. Like there were these cards that I used to abuse the shit out of, the spy cards.
Right.
They nerfed the crap out of them. Like they got nerfed so badly.
Right.
They added these new, because like one thing that I spoke about, one thing that I really disliked about the game was that you just had to pack up legendaries, right? Because
Yeah,
legendaries didn't get affected by weather. They couldn't get weakened by weather effects. However,
Right.
they introduced these new cards that get buffed by weather effects, right?
Right.
So you can run a couple of those, and you can run a couple of regular cards. So if someone like tries to freeze your whole front line, then you're like, haha, you activated my trap card, and you drop a bunch of these other cards, and it's like eat shit and die, nigga. Or they tweaked, they've added a bunch of new cards. They're adding story modes. They're adding standalone story modes. Mm-hmm. So just overall, man, seeing how over and beyond the Call of Duty that they went really, really impressed me. So for sure, Gwent is going to be my game of the show.
Yeah, I was, this was a tough one because there was a lot of great games to choose from this E3. Mm-hmm. It was hard. But I just kept on. I had to go with like, okay, what one had the best like demonstration? And I just keep going back to, and I know I've given this like a couple of awards, but I just keep going back to, like it's hard because you know what? It's kind of hard because I would actually, now I think about it, I would say it's a bit of a tie because I really, really did like the God of War, like gameplay and walkthrough, and I thought it was fantastic to see the Norse like mythology, seeing that fire giant. I was just like, oh yeah, getting really hyped. Seeing the crowd's reaction, the build up to the show, the build up to the reveal with the orchestra was fantastic. I really did enjoy that, but I think I'd have to give it like a tie with God of War, and then also Zelda Breath of the Wild, because. At the end of the day, those are the two, like, I did like God of War. I liked it a lot, and I think they showed that game really, like, they showed up, like, they revealed that game in the best way possible. But honestly, I will be getting Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, that is just a fact, you know what I mean? Like, I will be purchasing that game for sure. And that one really did surprise me in how many Zelda conventions it's breaking and how many new things it's bringing to the table. And it really did show a lot. I mean, to be fair, like I know, like obviously Nintendo's conference this year wasn't exactly the greatest as we specified, but it was a really good game. It was a really, really good game to show. So I don't know. I'm torn. Like this has been like one of the hardest like award thing because like when I think back to like a couple years ago, it was easy because there's only really like one or two games that really stood out at these E3s, right?
Yeah.
But this year was just a really solid year. So even me giving like maybe like a tie to like God of War and like Zelda Breath of the Wild, I could name like three others that are equally worthy of getting like game of the show. Like it's hard. It is really hard. But I guess I would pick those two. Like I would pick those two. For me personally, they stood out. And I will be definitely picking up Zelda for sure. But yeah, so that's pretty much our E3 2016 Game Awards. So
hold up, we got questions.
Oh, we do have questions.
Good Lord, Tanner.
That's why you're here.
Okay, so because we missed out on a question from Jay Streets from 2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago?
I think we got another question from him for this week, so we're going to cover both of them.
Okay.
So, 1 week ago. So his question from a week ago was, what does Ubisoft need to do to regain consumers' confidence? Okay, so I'll go first.
You want? Go.
The answer to this is easy. Stop being pricks, okay? Like straight up, just stop being goddamn pricks. It's at the end of the day, like we don't trust them because they have a history of doing shit like this, right? Like let's listen to what I said with For Honor. Mm-hmm. They revealed a new IP, and I was like, if this was made by any other developer, I'd be excited. Now, to answer your question, J Street, if For Honor comes out and it's awesome. Then Steep comes out, and that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the next new IP they make comes out, and that's awesome. Then the fourth one that they make, I'll be like, okay, you know what? Ubisoft have kind of turned things around.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for this new IP.
If just to add to that, very simply, Ubisoft, when you're at E3 or if you're showcasing your games,
oh boy,
make sure that you're showcasing something you can actually achieve. Don't do the infamous, we're going to downgrade the game because this is what we can actually accomplish. Because there are very long videos and a really long history of you doing that, and it is not a good way to build trust. It just isn't. It just isn't. Like, honestly, that's the biggest thing that always bums me out about Ubisoft games, is that it's like they keep showing games that are like, oh, this looks really cool, I can't wait for the game, and then you get to see it downgraded, and it's just such a bummer. It's just such a really big bummer, and it's like, just don't do that. If you have to sacrifice some graphic fidelity, then do it and give us something you can actually achieve. But don't lie to us and have our hopes be not come through.
Yeah. So it really just comes down to doing the right thing and doing that consistently.
Yes.
Right?
Consistency is the key.
Consistency is the key here. If they announced they show a game that looks really cool at the press conference, and then by the time it launches, it still looks that good, and they do that for 4 or 5 games, bam, you're gonna regain our trust in that regard. Yeah. You release a new IP, and that new IP comes out and it's actually good, you're gonna regain our trust in that. You stop nickel and diming us at every possible opportunity with multiple games, you're gonna regain our trust in that regard as well. So man, it just comes down to being a good company and doing that consistently, and you'll gain our trust back. You're never too far gone at the end of the day. No matter what a company does, they're never too because at the end of the day, I just want good video games, right?
And Ubisoft has made good video games. It's just the inconsistency.
So it just comes down to consistent. The only thing that they're consistent in is being assholes. So cut that out. But so that's the answer to that.
That's pretty much the answer, yeah.
Yeah, the other question that he asked was if and this is in regard, as most of you may know, Mighty Number 9 launched this week.
Yeah.
And it is getting killed. It's got a 56 on Metacritic now.
Yeah, it's not doing great.
It's not doing very well. So his next question was in regards to that. If developers keep failing with Kickstarter, should Kickstarter regulate who can use Kickstarter? To that I say no. I say no.
Because I understand where you're coming from, but it defeats the whole purpose of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of Kickstarter is allowing people with ideas and whatnot, or concepts, to be able to pitch the idea and receive some money to create that idea. That's in a lot of ways. It's meant to kickstart a project, basically. That's what Kickstarter is. So, I understand in a sense where regulation does need to be in order. If you see someone kickstart a project, and they just run off with the money on, blackjack and hookers, then, they probably shouldn't be allowed to do that. But, even so, it's not that the game that Mighty Number 9 was, Mighty Number 9, it got created. The project is finished. Now, you could argue that was not really a good investment, but the project was at least finished. I have seen many other Kickstarter games not be finished, and just nothing happens. But it's more it's just, I feel like as someone who, it's more, I think what Kickstarter needs to do is that they need to emphasize that what Kickstarter is. You are putting money into an idea. You are putting money into a concept. This is not a confirmed game, and the only confirmation that you will get is from the creators of the Kickstarter project. So you, as someone who is using Kickstarter, you need to do your homework. That's pretty much it. If you're really excited for this, you need to do your research and be like, okay, this is what this person has worked on. Can they be trusted with my money? I feel like it's as simple as that. I don't think regulating it would really help it. I think it would just, it would limit the creativity. Because as much as there are bad Kickstarter projects, there's also a lot of really good Kickstarter projects.
There's a lot of good ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We actually saw some gameplay of Bloodstained, which already looks better than Mighty Number 9.
Oh boy.
And but no, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree. It would go against the entire idea behind Kickstarter. So no, I don't think. But yeah, I do understand where you're coming from
Yes,
because
absolutely.
like Mighty Number Nine hurt Kickstarter. There's no other way to there's no other way to look at it. It hurts the platform.
Yes.
People are like, next time another developer, even if it's not Keiji Inafune, even if it's a developer who has a good reputation, people are going to be like, yeah, but what about that Mighty Number Nine?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely hurt them. But at the same time, that's just the risk of Kickstarter. That's just you're backing something that you're investing.
Yeah.
You're investing in something that you don't have. That you're buying something before it's made, pretty
Yes,
much.
basically.
You're buying something before a lot of time. You're buying something before you've seen any gameplay in it.
Mhm.
That's just the risk you're taking, and
Yeah.
sometimes it works out, and you get Shovel Knight,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't work out, and you get Mighty Number Nine. So,
Yeah.
so I guess yeah, like you said, just do your research.
You got to do your research, and it's also like if you're like, man, I don't know about this game. Should I? I'm interested in it, but I don't know if I should commit money. Just wait. Wait and see if there's any new updates or whatnot, and then if you feel confident in what they're showing, then yeah. Like I always feel like I always say this is like it's like, oh, this concept seems great. I'm gonna donate like $50 right away, and I'm like, maybe you should wait a bit. I don't know. It's just you just have to be careful. That's really the best advice we can give. So you have to be careful with Kickstarter.
Just gotta be careful with it. And I mean, like if you don't feel comfortable backing Kickstarters, I don't feel comfortable backing Kickstarters. I don't back them. And no one's holding a gun to your head, right? If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. Like there's a lot of games that I saw on Kickstarter that looked really cool, but I just sat back and let other people back it.
Yeah. So we're kind of dirtbags in that regard.
Yeah, what's that game called again? Oh my god, I've forgotten the name, but it was a game that I mentioned on this whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I follow the Kickstarter on a daily basis, hoping that it would hit its stretch goals, but I was not going to invest in it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just personally, I'm not going to put money into something before I have. I'm not going to buy something before it comes out.
Yeah.
That's just not my nature. I don't even pre-order. I don't even pre-order like big company games. I'm not gonna buy something before it comes out, and that's just my nature.
That's
fair.
Yeah,
but good questions, Jay Street.
Good questions, Jay Streets. With that, I think we're gonna have to wrap things up. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you leave a comment in the comment section, we'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast.
Little Devil Inside. That was the name of the game. Sorry.
The Devil Inside. Yeah, I remember that.
Little Devil Inside. Sorry, it was killing me.
Yeah, because I knew what game you were talking about, but I couldn't think of the name. But with that, we're gonna have to wrap things up. So we'll talk to you guys later.